Hi, welcome to the Invest Yukon virtual site tour for the Strategic Metals Mount Hinton property. My name is Doug Eaton. I'm the CEO and President of Strategic Metals. We're on the traditional territory of the Nacho-Nyak-Dun First Nation. Back in the background, you can see the Bell Keno workings and the Birmingham workings of the Keno Hill camp. There was 200 million ounces of silver mined from that hill and the other hill in the background over there. One of the largest silver camps in Canada. At Mount Hinton, we're looking for something a little bit different. We're looking for gold. It's part of the same hydrothermal system as far as we can tell, but it's a little bit different, and it really hasn't had the same kind of exploration that the Keno Hill camp has had. So our property extends over top of the first ridge that you can see in the background, all the way around through the bowl on this side, around over top of the hills in the background, swinging around. We come up over top of the range over here, and it extends for a couple of kilometers beyond it. It's a very, very large camp scale property. There are literally tens, in fact, probably now over 100 known veins on the claim block. Right now the drill work is focused up principally on what we call the Granite North Zone. We have one drill working in there. We've created a system of roads that allow us to do all of our work with bulldozer support. We don't have to use any helicopters. We've just completed some holes and are just about to start another one on a very large trend. It's about 4 kilometers long and about 750 kilometers wide. Contains most of the old historic veins on the property. We call it the Northern Structural Corridor. A lot of the old assays were greater than half an ounce, many of them over an ounce per ton gold. So it's a very dynamic project. It's happening in real time. Earlier this summer, we announced our first chip sample results from a project which is about 2 kilometers to the southwest of us. We call that the Southwest Zone. A chip sample there graded 200 grams per ton gold across 1.2 meters. It was totally unexpected. Very broad ranging. It's about a 6.5 kilometer by 4.5 kilometer target in the center of a much larger claim block. Our anomalies extend virtually across the entire property, so we've got enough work here to be busy for many, many years.
In the core shack. We can start looking at these rocks in through here. All the rocks on this side of the table are from the northern part here, the Granite North Zone. This is a zone that is very, very rich in visible gold, free gold. A lot of these, you can see the texture in here, you can see the brecciated texture of the sample here, but there is some free gold sitting here on the end of this quartz crystal. Although it's not the only place we found visible gold on the Granite North area, we've also found that several hundred meters to the east of what we call the breccia zone and several hundred meters to the west of what we call the breccia zone. So not only do we have the visible gold and the free gold, but we also do have more sulfide-rich mineralization. Right in through this part of the table and through here are rocks from what we call the Southwest Zone. Here we've got a very, very nice vein in here that ran upwards of, I believe, 49 grams per ton over almost a meter on this vein and through here. The other samples on the table here, we've got 3 samples from number 1 vein or the East Granite zone and through here. This is an extremely rich area in silver, almost a Keno Hill type of grades in silver. So the Granite North zone, we're super excited about this area. The drilling is coming along as well as can be expected. We've hit some really good zones and looking forward to getting the assays back and proving that it isn't just a small little visible gold target, but quite a large system that we're dealing with here.
That hillside, this time last year had no roads on it. Everything you see has been done with an excavator since the middle of August last year, most of it since the middle of June this year. What stimulated our excitement about that hillside was, first of all, it was a very strong geochem anomaly. But in the process of following up that, we had a fellow who was prospecting. He picked up just a piece of what looked like barren bull quartz. No excitement to it at all. We sent it in for assay just to check to see what kind of numbers we could get. And without realizing it, it had visual gold in it. It assayed 2,340 grams per ton gold. Spectacular number. We also, as we began to prospect, found other mineralization that had little bits of sulfide, of just a few percent, that were assaying over an ounce per ton. We've now found visual gold on that hillside in several locations. So we're in the process. We've completed 8 holes so far. We're moving very, very quickly through the zone, drilling first a fence of holes across it to assess bulk tonnage potential, and we're intersecting lots of veins at the same time.
So we're at the number 17 vein. It's one of the veins we're targeting in the 2020 drill program. It's a roughly 2 to 3 meter wide vein. That's one of the few veins exposed on surface on the property. So this is vein material from the number 17 vein. It's characterized by a fairly moderate amount of arsenopyrite that weathers to scorodite, and there are lots of cavities and breccia textures within the vein. The vein itself is heavily altered within quartzite, so there's a really, really altered hanging wall zone of bleached light gray quartzite. And then below it, we get into our vein and footwall alteration. So one of the things that makes this outcrop so special is our veins on the property are typically very rare. And that's because on the property, our more competent rocks slough over and they cover these veins that weather recessively, so they break down to really small sized class of material, and they're covered by rocks that slough off of the outcrop. So in general, it's very rare to actually find an outcropping vein of this kind of magnitude, which makes it quite special.
One of the things that we really like about the Mount Hinton property is access and the overall infrastructure situation. We've got good roads right onto the property that service the placer miners as well as ourselves. We're just a few kilometers from the community of Keno City, where there's the access to the Yukon power grid. It's just a really great place to work, and it's a wholly owned property. We don't have any underlying royalties. The Strategic owns it 100%. Strategic Metals focuses on Yukon, and a lot of people say, why do you stay up here? The answer is really simple. Right behind me, there's a major placer operation underway. 3 years ago, it wasn't even known. The placer gold that they're pulling out of there is really spectacular. In fact, I've got a great story. I went down and visited one of the operators one day and said, how's it going? He said, oh, not too bad. And he reached into his pocket and came out with a handful of gold nuggets out of his pockets of his jeans. Said, this project here is within a few kilometers of one of the most heavily explored areas of the Yukon. Silver was first found in the Keno Hill district in the early 1900s. And now, in the early 2000s, we found what we think is a fairly significant gold district right within just a few kilometers of the established silver camp. So it's a place where there's lots of new discoveries that can be made. It's a huge territory. There's lots of different styles of mineralization here. It's really, truly a unique place to be. And frankly, I came up here 50 years ago and I fell in love with it. It's a fabulous, fabulous place to spend time. I hope that what we've done here gives you a pretty good overview of the project and what we're trying to accomplish. Looking forward to some really great results. And you know, I know we're going to have a good season. We've got a great crew out here. They're having a lot of fun. So you know, let's keep our fingers crossed and hopefully we'll have a really exciting story when we see you next. Thank you very much.